So yeah, you can kind of see if you look on the right side of your stream now. Looks like our first bands were Capsaicin and Love East. And then the players locked in. Yirisute Gomen. Yeah, I don't know. Some Hinabi the Kokonatsu stuff. What up? Oh, is Gaz joining? Hell yeah. And we got Aragami and then Mase Mase Teku Mama equals Majiku. Yeah, I don't know. Camille feature not a hero for our decider. I think we're about to double the amount of people we got on commentary here. We got the homie Skaz pulling up.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Skaz. I'm actually super excited to be looking at lowers right now. I haven't seen 15s or 16s in a hot minute, but this is like probably one of my favorite parts of like getting into South Voltex and getting up through the levels and everything. There's a lot of really crazy stuff in here. Have you seen much of any of this list of stuff that we're looking at right now? I saw that Capsaicin got banned.
Yeah.
Which kind of bums me out, because that's a crazy 16.
Me 10 years ago would have been bummed out about that. That was like,
what are your pocket picks?
Capsaicin was like, you know, Booth was cool, but then like 2 came out and I saw like Capsaicin for the first time and I was like, this is it. Like, this is what the game's about.
Finally. Like, jackets, and it was just like, please somebody who could actually like type this into the thing, find it for us, because we're never gonna figure out which one it is.
I get lost once we enter kanji territory. I can at least sit down and like figure out kind of what a song looks like, but if I need to pull it up on the keyboard, I'm cooked. So the best part about the card draw is that like under the cards you can at least see the date, so you can like try to sort by date and find it.
Yeah, none of these charts that they were playing here are particularly that new. Also, I mean, Aragami with the BPM change is going to be pretty wild, so.
Yeah.
If I recall, this chart is relatively straightforward. Not a lot of quirks or gimmicks here. So really it's just up to these players to just sort of execute on something that's just a little bit more standard.
Yeah, I recall this update came out like mid Heavenly Haven, and it was just like we got the ninja songs from Kokonatsu and stuff. I remember just kind of blasting through it, and everything was pretty straightforward.
Honestly, the players are kind of trading back and forth. It's really close between the two of them right now. Hope just barely pulling ahead. But it's only really about like a 2 to 3 near difference at the moment.
Definitely. I would say, yeah, there we go on Hope dropping something there. It's really tricky to hold on to a lead when you have these long docked slams that you drop one of those and you can't recover.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But it goes both ways, for sure. Really feel like we're just trading blows based on how well players can react to the pulse and docked lasers that we have coming out.
It actually kind of brings up something that's a little bit interesting about tournament play, is like the concept of like maybe even reading a little bit slower than you're used to reading, because a lot of the charts you're playing are going to be sight reads in a lot of cases, especially if you like haven't played a lot of the folder.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think like it would be to your benefit to... Ooh.
Hope actually just really totally nailed that section. Yeah, that was crazy.
I'd have to guess that Hope maybe has experience in other games, because his timing was crisp on that.
So that's song 1 going over to Hopecaster.
And that was Subject's
pick. Oh wow.
Ooh. Well, it's time to find out whether or not Hopecaster picked Aragami because he knows the slowdown or because he knows the song, and we'll just kind of ball our way through the speed change in Aragami. We We out here spending PCB.
So I'm not super familiar with Origami 15. I'd imagine it's probably going to be a lot of buttons. I'd imagine it's going to be almost even just like a stamina check. Somewhat similar to the last one where it'll be relatively straightforward. But you know what? We could be completely wrong on that one. Starts out pretty slow, but it's going to be speeding up in just a moment.
Yeah, if I recall, the speed up was kind of like something that was mildly sight readable because it has the time signature change.
There we go.
There we go. I know there's one more that looks spooky, but I think you're just holding on to a hold node or something while right here.
Those things. Yeah, it actually doesn't actually change the BPM in that section.
It's just the time
has
signature.
The extra measure lines, yeah.
Got a 1 up. I was going to say, we had a 1 near lead on Hope.
Yeah, Subject 38 actually, if they both trade their protect picks, that would actually be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure I saw Hopecaster had not actually played this song yet, so
sometimes that can be an advantage depending on what kind of player you are. Sometimes, like, you ever get that feeling you, at least for your first few plays, your sight read will just like pop off, and then your subsequent plays you
honestly,
undershoot your sight read until you really get familiar with the chart.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so we got some pretty standard one-handing here with some jacks. Both players doing pretty well on it. Both players keeping a pretty high chain right now. 1,000 chain on Subject and 750 up here on Hopecaster. Both these players just like kind of playing out of their minds.
Kind of a tricky little FX pattern there.
Scores are really close. Only about a near difference. And it's tied. Oh!
A 1 near lead.
This is some pretty tricky button patterns here.
Yep.
Oh, wow, that's a
any
tough pattern.
mirrors, or are we dropping any knobs? Ooh, ooh.
Hopecaster
there we go.
Keeping the chain, too. Very well done by Hope.
Honestly,
both players did super well there. That was a really good performance from both of them.
It's really tricky to hold on to a knob pattern like that at the very end if you have tournament nerves, too.
Oh, for sure.
Especially when you're down at this level where we're in the first pool and we're having people who are newer-ish to the game. It can be really hard to your matches can be really decided by whether or not you dropped a hold or a laser.
The matches can be very
not
swingy.
bad chaining lasers is, I think. If you can really hold on to lasers at this level, I think you have a really good chance of making it out of your pool for sure.
For sure. Well, that was a really solid match right there. Hopecaster taking the win 2-0 over Subject 38. Winning both Subject's pick and his own. Super well done by Hopecaster. For each group, it's going to be a round robin within that group. The players have a 7-card draw in which they ban 2, protect 2, then ban 2 more. So it's a total of 3 songs between 2 players. And then each player plays one of those best of 3 sets with every other player in their 4-person group. So like in that set, Hopecaster versus Subject 38, it was a best of 3 in which Hopecaster came out on top.
See, I was not present enough to. We're getting the card draw sorted out right now. You can see the players pointing at and choosing what they want. I wasn't paying enough attention to actually know who's who.
Okay.
What everyone looks like. Okay.
Destroyer Exhaust.
Disordered Asia is actually a solid one if you can really, if you got good timing. It's not terribly hard to keep your chain on.
Wicked Cross just out. Hopecaster banning that out. Doesn't want to see it. Requarian banning out the Kurohaka remix. It looks like Requarian's locking in. I don't know the name of that song.
Some Toho. Kanji Rena Euphoria. Yeah, something Euphoria. Okay, Disordered Asia, Protected, big fan.
We've got the Ichika song
we're
being banned out
yep.
immediately by Hopecaster. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see Destroyer get banned here. Yeah.
Yep.
And
I
then
was gonna say I would ban Destroyer for sure if I'm.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's where my lack of like 16's knowledge post like, you know, Sound Voltex 5-ish comes into play. Destin Marionette as an 18. Messed up chart.
Yeah, no, super messed up. I'm like, look, if I'm like looking at the card draw and I see 93 to 186 BPM, I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, Destin Marionette is a 16? I don't know. You're still going to have to deal with the really slow intro. And again, it could just be like a super messed up 16. I truly have no idea.
And the other thing that always like tips me off too that I might be in for a good time is if my friend Beat Mario wrote it.
Oh yeah, this is like ancient. Like, it's a BMS song, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
I want to say it's like one of the first like BMS songs.
So I just started playing BMS just like 2 weeks ago, and I think our mutual friend Thomas, he sat down, he's like, play Destin Marionette.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's messed up in BMS a little bit too. I'm gonna be transparent. Not the biggest fan of Beat Mario, and I just sit down and I respect his musical style.
Yeah.
But there's an air that exists. There's an aura that he exudes that I'm not gonna say. I don't think it makes people chart his music badly. It's just that you get interesting things as a result. Because I like a fair amount of charts for like Beat Mario stuff, but it's just that you get some interesting tech usually in most Beat Mario songs.
Honestly, Destin Marionette is actually probably one of my favorite Beat Mario songs. Like, I actually really like Destin Marionette.
Yeah,
it sounds like a Toho remix, but it's like really good though.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
It's definitely an all-time classic. It's super old.
Oh yeah, ancient.
Fair amount of docked lasers already. Solid 1 year lead by Hope. Oh, both players reacting appropriately to the one-handing.
That would have gotten me ages ago. Any of those, like, you're doing something and suddenly you got to hold a PC, like, it gets me.
It's so impressive with, like, ooh, yeah, see, the
big knob drop from Hope, unfortunately.
Thing that we were just talking about earlier with, I think a lot of the matches are going to be decided more over holding combo through laser patterns rather than accuracy. But I'm just so impressed nowadays by, we're like old boys in the scene, right? Like, I've been playing since 2013 when we just like only had Booth, and we're in like the bottom pool right now. Where we have newer players who, on average, compared to most of the people showing up to the tournament, are in the lower skill bracket. But just like in 2025, the level of play for what would be considered the lowest skill pool is like being able to react to things and execute tech. It's so impressive to me that how high the level of play can be, even just for new people.
I was gonna be honest, 17 Volt Force, no easy feat.
Yeah,
that is still a challenge. Hope pulling it out, 9-9 and S on. I think that was a sight read. I'm not entirely sure, but we're about to see in just a second. But basically, that was a really good score and incredibly close match, like 989 to 990.
A one miss or two near lead. Let's see, both sight reads.
Both sight reads. Wow.
I think Hope really pulled that out by just not picking up too many nears, because he definitely had a handful more misses.
A super narrow victory, but like honestly, a 9-9 on sight read, extremely impressive.
Yeah.
And basically a 9-9 on Rick Varian's side as well. Super impressive. And yeah, Hope had some pretty sizable knob drops, but still nailing that 9-9. Very impressive stuff.
I'm gonna have to ask him like later, just like what else do you play? Because his accuracy is just on point.
Yeah, the timing is really phenomenal. But Rick Varian doing a great job too. Both these players are actually playing out of their minds right now.
I remember grinding this for Puck when it came out. This one should, I think accuracy is going to be the name of the game for this one, because I don't remember there being too many, not ankle, I guess wrist breakers. We don't play with our feet in this game, but
I mean,
nothing too tricky. I mean, you know, if you want to get your feet on the controller, just don't do it around on. If you want to do it at home, no one's. Ooh,
right at the start.
Oh, that is some tricky one-handing.
But Requarian's just absolutely nailing it.
Yeah.
No issues whatsoever. This is looking like a really solid start. The last song was Requarian's pick. This pick was Hopecaster's. So we may be seeing, you know, some protect trades here. Both these players winning their opponent's picks. If it continues.
Little drop from Billy, but shows how much I remember some of these parts, though, because I totally forgot that, especially on a sight read, some really tricky one-handing like that can really trip you up.
This chart's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
I'm actually, this is the kind of chart that would be tripping me up.
The buttons are really straightforward, but I totally blanked out on the fact that there's some really tough to sight read stuff with the lasers going on here. Some tricky one-handing that can be hard to react to if you're not prepared.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, you look at these button patterns, it's just all mostly eighth notes, but you're really being thrown into the
Yeah, Requarian's taking an incredibly sizable lead at this point.
Yeah, he is killing it.
Hopecaster struggling just a little bit. But, I mean, honestly, it's pretty justified. Some of the stuff in this chart so far has been very tricky. Yeah, here it comes back again, the same pattern.
Ooh, he even nailed those FXs, too.
Wow.
Wow.
Almost a 9-9 there on Requarian.
Billy taking it
super well done.
Handily.
Yeah, both these players, again, trading their protects. I honestly love to see that in a tournament. That's always really hype.
And he... you go ahead.
Coming down to Justin Marionette.
Yeah. Our first song 3 of the tournament. 3 matches in. Anyone out there fans of...
Full force.
Ooh. Anyone out there who's a fan of esports and likes to watch Counter-Strike is reminiscent of my favorite team, FaZe Clan. All they do is lose on their own map picks and then beat the opponent on theirs. So, big banger. Reincarnation, in my humble opinion, maybe one of the best songs to have ever hit any Bomani game. And Bomani's just been on fire for like some of the unlocks recently because we have
we're finally back into it. Okay.
All right, Destin.
Match 3, tiebreaker between Hopecaster and Requarian. It's Destin Marionette, exhaust 16. He's going to start out slow.
See if we can get both players to react appropriately to the speed up. Both holding their
I also, for a second, thought that that's where it was going to speed up, but I forgot. Yeah, it's going to be actually coming up.
Yeah, I think there's a trill. Thankfully, we have those notifications. Right here. Yep, there we go.
Both players going into this completely tied. Yeah, this is a really even match so far.
Chart's looking pretty straightforward so far. Ooh, that's some tricky one-handing. Hope dropping a whole laser on that one.
This one-handing is actually so difficult for a 16. This is crazy.
I feel like that's just like the ghost of Beat Mario. Like
Requarian reading it very well, by the way. Like Hopecaster seems to have struggled just a little bit on it, but Requarian just had the read on it. Didn't seem to phase him at all.
Yeah, Billy's. I'm clocking him as a one-hand guy because he really killed that one-hand stuff in Disordered Asia too, and he's really killing it here.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Hope almost.
Hope you knew there was a crossover there.
He got that first crossover, but didn't expect to have to go back.
Crossovers at 16s is messed up. I suspect these players may not have known how messed up Destin Marionette could be.
Yeah.
To be fair, neither did we, but kind of
or maybe Billy knew.
Honestly, maybe.
I mean, he's just
all
really
part of the
holding on to it.
Yeah.
Nothing too tricky here as long as you don't drop one of the docked lasers.
Hopecaster seems pretty shook here. Requarian pulling ahead with a very solid lead. It's going to be pretty hard to, you know, it's feeling pretty insurmountable at this point. I'm not sure if there's much that Hope could do. Not much hope.
We're up at 950.
Big stream. Both players doing quite well on it though. And that's it.
All right, Billy taking it pretty handily. Requarian running it back from down 0-1 to 2-1.
That is so stressful too. When you go down the first song and you're like, man, I have to double
on your
up.
own pick.
On your own pick, no less. Yeah. Ooh. But to pull it out, Requarian doing a phenomenal job. That was really impressive. Seeing some full force too. You'll love to see it.
Let's see. Need to check out the pools, and I think make kind of a guess at who we got up next. Farius versus. Let's see. I'm so bad with faces. I think it's Luminifarious and Subject for this next match. I think that's Subject. Or maybe it's Hopecaster. Okay, we got Black or Red, Milky Way Memorable.
Stray Cats, Next Infection, Da. It got locked in.
Oh.
Woo. And some stuff that already got banned, including Scarlet Pinheal. Scarlet Pinheal getting through would have been crazy. Woo.
You gotta hold me back on my Scarlet Pinheal.
That's the new one. It's the new one. It's the 2024 one. Right?
Oh, the new remix.
It's the remix, not the original.
Okay.
Stray Cats getting locked in by Luminifarious. It's Luminifarious versus Hopecaster.
Stray Cats, solid pick if you just really feel like you can nail those buttons.
Next Infection banned, sadly. I like Next
I was going to say, I would leave Milky Way Memorable open if I'm leaving it down to the last band there, unless you really know Black or Red, which is, I think, the Reflect Beat song that we got about it.
It should be. I mean, I feel like the exhaust has got to be pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
No, it's not like the Maximum's that crazy.
Yeah. But Milky Way Memorable, very classic, very good for what it was back in the day, for sure, like part-wise, and very good song.
I think I remember the chart being pretty good. I confuse it with Happy Sensation, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
It's kind of easy to confuse those two.
I think it's the jackets are pretty similar. I think they both had the Near Noah kind of like floating around.
Yeah, there was like a string of jackets back then that's just like kind of all the same.
Just looking at you with them big ol' eyes.
Yeah. Kind of hard to keep them straight, honestly.
All right, so.
But I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't actually know what Da 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 exhaust is at all. Obviously, the Maximum is very notorious.
I think it's moderately similar to the 17.
It's got to be jacks, surely.
Yeah, it has the jacks. I think the 17, it has what I would call like, I wouldn't even call it like hand trip, but there's the sections where you have to know what hand to switch off to the knobs. Because like the Da 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 Da, especially early on when it came out, felt like a very memorization heavy chart because there's sections where the knobs will dip out and then dock back in the middle, and they alternate, except for one time one of the knobs will go twice in a row, and that will absolutely trip you up. And I'm sure the exhaust might not feature ankle breakers like the Infinite does.
Just straight into some jacks.
Wow, that is brutal. Tricky to have a BC jack rather than a AB or CD jack.
Level 15, by the way.
Yeah.
Hopecaster doing a phenomenal job out the gate. Still on that gold chain, hasn't dropped a button yet. Luminifarious actually did really well on those intro jacks, but it's been struggling a little bit after that. Dropping a few knobs here and there. Luminifarious.
Yeah, here you go. I think around here is where we would have seen the ankle breakers before. Still pretty tricky with the early slams. Kind of a little switch up and a tricky one hand. Hope really holding on to a very secure lead with, we had a knob undocked for Hope.
Jesus, these are some tricky patterns here.
Yeah.
They really were not messing around back then, were they?
Oh, I feel like back in Sound Voltex, like 1 through 3, the Sound Voltex team loved throwing out like straight. There we go.
Here comes the jacks.
So we just have one button jacks.
Hopecaster really actually just nailing this.
A little bit of a commentator's curse, but I feel like.
Wow!
Oh! So we still have a 3-button and a 4-button jack on the exhaust.
In a convincing fashion,
pretty
too.
tricky, but
wow.
Yeah. Hopecaster securely taking the first song. But what I was going to say is in 1 through 3, I feel like the Sound Voltex team kind of had an obsession with, if we need to make something tricky, just have one knob go in a direction linearly and have the other knob follow that, but go back and forth as it follows it.
Yeah, they did that a lot.
And that pattern was just made to make sure that you cannot UC things comfortably. Like, it was manufactured in a lab to make you disappointed in yourself.
Yeah, da-da-da really was not messing around back then. I mean, the Infinite too, just all of it. It's
the Infinite has like one of the hardest things about trying to puck it is there's a pattern near the end that just like this hand trip thing that's just impossible.
I'm gonna keep it real though. I find that chart really fun.
Oh, I love it.
I love that chart. I love that chart.
I love it.
I think I've almost pucked it. Big Straight Cats fan too, by the way.
Yeah, no, I love Straight Cats.
So this is for sure just going to be mostly a straightforward button chart.
Yeah.
This was Luminifarious' lock-in, so maybe he has some confidence on button charts, maybe some swing charts advantage. So we'll see how that goes. Although I will say Hopecaster is nailing it so far.
Yeah.
Still with that almost 250, almost 300 gold chain. Pretty good accuracy too.
Yeah, he's really killing it with these little swung notes can be really tricky.
Oh, for sure. That's a tricky pattern. It just nailed it. No problem. Hopecaster playing out of his mind right now.
Ooh, this is really tricky to not undock on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very momentum based. If you get like behind on those knobs, you're toast.
See how. All right, so instead of a trill, we just have a laser pattern. That's not surprising. I feel like that's really common for a button chart to throw a laser at you instead of a dense trill.
Honestly, Hopecaster is playing insanely well right now. Just barely lost the gold chain, but the accuracy has been on point despite the song being swung for like a good portion of it.
He's really killing a lot of the one-hand stuff that we're seeing in the matches that he's having today. Here we go, we're leading into what's usually a button-heavy section in the gravity. This ending can be really deceptively hard to time because you have the off-time kind of little snare hits. Nailed it.
Is there there's no knob. Okay,
There's no knob.
I was like, how could there be a knob with a 4?
No, there's just like, are they gonna illegal us? 995. Wow.
So well done.
Luminifarious putting up a really good fight though. Really glad that.
Okay, dropping a 995 in tournament.
Yeah.
In bracket. Extremely impressive stuff by Hopecaster. On a sight read, too. That's insane.
7 nears and 3 misses.
Insane.
Two of those knob misses.
And that'll be it. Hopecaster taking that match 2-0 over Luminifarious. Luminifarious putting up a real good fight, though. Real solid job there. Those are some tough charts. I mean, man, exhaust. I learned a thing or two today. That chart is messed up.
Little
as
disappointed.
Expected. A comfortable 1-0 in his group. Next up, we've got. Yeah, you want to introduce this?
I was say we got Rayquarian and Hopecaster. We've already gone through the card draw ahead of time. So Rayquarian locking in Origami Karu Suitoravu. Oh, Origami Kalu, whatever Kalu is, Sweet Love. Sparkle Smilin' Bamani Sound Team, Crispy Joy Box featuring Ichika. kind of a forgotten song from the COVID era, and then old classic AA Blackie remix, Exhaust.
Okay, so I would say most people know the Infinite for AA
Yes.
Blackie remix.
And it's all the trill, the one hand at the very beginning.
It's messed up. It's notorious. I don't think most people know the Exhaust. I don't even know the Exhaust anymore.
I have history with the Exhaust.
Give me the rundown on the Exhaust.
Okay. The Exhaust, it being an old chart, it is a very knob-heavy chart.
Really?
Almost all the way through, where at least like during booth, you would get mixed by the knobs just kind of going towards the middle, and sometimes they would continue all the way over, or they would bounce back, and it was a reading check to see if you were actually paying attention to see if the knobs were crossing past each other or bouncing off each other and going back to where they came from.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that. I have history with it because back when on the old level scale, AA Blackie Remix was my first level 15 behind Daiuchi stage being my second. Clap, clap, clap.
Take a shot.
Step Mania player spotted.
All right. Song number 1, Requarian's pick. I already forgot what it's called. You want to...
Origamical Sweet Love.
Origamical Sweet Love.
It just clicked to me what the Kadu was. Origamical Sweet Love.
I didn't
Camellia Nanahira.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even look at the artist, and like, I know the song, but like, even not knowing the song, you can hear the Camellia Dempa style instantly before you even hear Nanahira start serenading you.
So in this very beginning, it's looking like Requarian's pulling ahead. And keep in mind, these are our two of our players who came up from the previous wave, so we've seen them play before.
Yep.
They weren't in the same group, though, I don't believe.
Or were they? I can double check.
We can double check. They were in the same group.
Yeah.
Okay, they were in the same group.
I think they were in the same group.
So they played against each other before. And yeah, I think that it really is anyone's game for this entire set. I don't think either player particularly has a massive advantage over the other.
Yep.
Hopecaster was looking really good, but you know, Requarian was also looking quite good as well and is currently ahead. So
really holding on to his UC like almost 3/4 of the way through.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So there's no crossing groups to advance. It's the players will stay together
and
when they advance, which doesn't happen very often because usually only one player is going to advance out of each group.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I recall, after starting from this wave, every wave only has one person advance.
One advance until the last wave. And then
until sorry, and then we have the very last wave having to advance.
Yep. The gap is closed very slightly. Requarian still keeping a bit of a lead.
Yep.
Lost the gold chain, unfortunately. No more UC for us.
Staring down the barrel of a 1 error run. That 996 looks kind of like a 1 error run to me. Very close though.
996 and 994
like
is crazy.
Hopecaster really holding on and making that competitive. Is it 1 error? 2 errors. 6 nears. Very solid. All right, Sparkle Smile and Hopecaster's got to pull this one back so we can see how right I was about AA Blackie Remix. The end also for AA Blackie Remix does mix you with some weird chord one-hand stuff that's just a nerf version of what you see in the Infinite too.
Gotcha.
So it having that be my first 15, it was about surviving that after not dropping too many knobs. Hope pulling ahead a little bit already off the back of that little FX triplet. Pulling ahead a little bit more off of it.
Yeah, early leads are going to mean a lot, especially in these upper difficulty songs. The gap will be getting closer. Hope picking up a solid lead, but again, these camera movements are making it really hard to see what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And especially when you're doing like buttons across the entire board with one hand, it's very tricky.
And it was, we saw Hope drop on a, again, it's those one-hand knob staircase patterns. That
especially when you don't know the chart.
Oh, that is such a difficult knob pattern at any level.
Yeah, Hope is definitely struggling with some of these hand setups. This is the kind of stuff that would mess me up personally.
Yeah.
Sorry, I smacked my mic there. Yeah, these are the sorts of things that would trip me up, especially if you're not ready for it, you're not familiar with it. In a tournament setting, you've got tournament nerves. There's people watching you. People, you feel a little bit of pressure, right?
Yeah.
It's very natural. And it can feel really punishing when you sort of are not ready for a hand movement like that, and then now you've just lost like a ton of score.
Yeah, and again, like part of it could be you have a lead and you fell behind on the pacemaker, which is, again, same thing that me and Skaz both did. You can turn that pacemaker off so that keeping yourself guessing whether or not you're ahead or behind can be a good or bad thing depending on your own personal mental approach to the tournament.
Yeah, some people might see that they're in second and they just lock in. Some people might mess with them too much. It's too distracting.
Yeah, or the opposite. You might see that you're really in first and get too complacent.
That's me, Rick Quarian, taking it, and therefore taking the entire set. Congratulations, Rick Quarian. That chart is an underrated, difficult chart.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying...
Hopecaster looking pretty happy after this, though, so I don't think he's that...
Yeah, spirits are high, by the way. I've seen, in every single match so far, I've seen lots of sportsmanship. I've seen players shaking hands, bumping fists. A lot of good vibes out here in the tournament. Everyone's out here having a good time. If you didn't get a chance to get down here, try to make it out for the next one, you know? The Big Deal 6. Heck, if you've got any Voltex tournaments even remotely close to you, come out and compete, or just come out and watch and have it's coming from the lower bracket.
We have two Ryans in our group that can destroy us. Yeah. Both of them are named Ryan, and both of us could destroy us in different ways.
Yeah, the call is coming from the lower bracket, and it's coming to claim
anything
both
can
of us.
happen. Sorry, please give us. Actually, all three of the remaining songs in this pick are
This
okay.
set is so sick.
I cannot blame
I'm
you.
so sad at Ultra Turbo.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually Ultra Turbo. If we get Starlight Express, I'm gonna lose it. Oh my god.
Yes.
If we get to a song 3 and we're doing Starlight Express, dude. I might lose on this song. I haven't played it in so long.
These are the wrong names, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, they're right. They're right names. Okay, Hopecaster versus SC Fun. Soccer Mirage, we talked about this earlier already, so I'm not going to talk your ear off again about Soccer Mirage, but I'm a big fan. I love this card. Huge check on a bunch of random different fundamentals. You got your what's it called?
Chord streams.
You've got your FX trills on one hand. You've got wrong siding. You've got wrong siding trills. A lot of stuff.
Yep.
You say Boots light. I say Boots alternate.
Yeah.
I say they're testing different things, but they're also testing some similar things.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like something that you practice if you're trying to get into Boots back in the day, but it's not like it was that much easier than Boots or at all.
Yeah.
It was just. I
think some people are just better at one and then the other.
Yep.
That being said, I do think that's just like for clearing, S-ing, and pucking. These are all three different metrics, and they're at varying degrees of difficulty for each other. Like I think pucking Soccer Mirage is much harder than Boots.
Yes.
But I think S-ing Soccer Mirage might be easier. Yeah.
Yep. Soccer Mirage on average ergonomically flows better.
Yeah. The whole slowdown section in Boots is I've got a lot of...
Or even just the chord staircases at the end of Booths.
Yeah, I think the ones in this chart feel better. I do think a huge part of this pick is going to be the knowledge check.
Yeah.
Granted, this is currently the weekly song.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that almost everybody in this room has played it recently.
I think I just watched Essie do some crazy tech and get away with it again. Some crazy little crossover that he just did to the A button with his right hand.
So yeah, right off the bat.
Oh, see, yeah, no.
Both players failing the knowledge check.
If you're not paying attention, it's really easy to reach for the wrong knob on that one.
Yeah.
Because
you gotta know it's on the wrong side. This stream is brutal.
Both of them killing it.
Actually, Hopecaster, I think, all crit the entire thing, which is insanely difficult.
If you watch the camera, Hopecaster did not static that. He had a
moving pattern.
A cool flow.
It's very
to
sick.
it.
All right. Now we've got knowledge check number 3 coming up. This is going to be the one-hand FX trill.
I think Essie's not.
Okay, no,
on the
wrong
ready.
Side. SC doing quite well on it. Hope dropping quite a few nears. And here comes the chord stream.
I got a little scared when SE used 2 hands for that FX hold, but he looked like he was ready.
Actually, Hope is nailing this chord stream. Both players actually doing quite well on it. Very impressive stuff from both these players. This ending part, very brutal, very tough. You just got to kind of know.
Yep.
And I think SE knew just a little bit better there.
Yep.
That's going to be SE taking that one 9-5 to a 9-2-3. And that is going to be, honestly,
I think very, very competitive for all of it. It was just determined by a couple of big drops. But otherwise, through the rest of the song, like, section by section, really neck and neck.
I think what it really comes down to is both those players would actually probably have had like a 9-7, 9-8-ish, maybe subtract a little bit, if they knew about the left-hand wrong side stuff at the beginning. Both those players were undocked. Both those players lost a lot of score to that. That's a very difficult knowledge check. If you don't have it, you will lose a lot. Now Squeeze, though. Squeeze is a bit older. I actually kind of vaguely remember Squeeze. I remember being pretty straightforward.
I know the song really well.
Yeah, it's a good song.
I don't remember the exact. I think I played this a lot actually during Gravity Wars.
Yeah, I think
and I think it's pretty straightforward.
I remember being pretty straightforward. But it's also
got a little hand trip on like those FXs before the slam comes back.
Yeah, it being on the wrong side.
Hope pulling it back off the back of a handful of nears from SE.
Oh, wow, yeah, Hope pulling straight ahead. Kind of wild to see that there's such a shift in the score despite the fact that we're still on a unbroken gold chain on the side of SE.
Oh, see, this can be a bit tricky with,
very costly top drop there.
Yeah.
I think we're into like a pretty normal stream at this point.
I think Hope didn't see the
right knob overlapping.
On that, yeah.
Or just maybe wasn't ready for it. Yeah, just a relatively normal stream at this point. Unfortunately, that is those knobs coming out. You got to be ready for them.
So yeah, both players for pretty solid part of this like chorus holding puck for all. Ooh, some costly knob drops from Hope though.
So some unfortunate news. It's looking like we're not going to see Starlight Express.
Starlight Express.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate one. But SC Fun playing pretty well.
Yep.
Nice try. Very good try. A 988 coming out of that too. Very solid. Hopecaster putting up a real solid fight there. And hey, you know what? Already advanced out of the group below. So can't complain, right? You know, already got the dub. Again, almost got the S on sight read too. That's pretty. Fanta Cramble. It's only the 15. Yeah. Darn. Still, I love the song.
But yeah, I've been playing this 17 specifically a lot recently.
This one or Fanta Cramble?
The Okayu one.
The Okayu one.
Over the top, decent pick.
We're seeing the Camellia Not a Hero one again.
Yep. I'm leaning towards Cappuccino Hearts making it through.
I think it's going to make it through. I would really like to see Fanta Cramble. That song is so funny to me.
If Fanta,
I'm going to call that. I know it's Scramble,
it means that someone knows it. All right, yeah, there you go.
All right.
I was going to say, I don't know it, so.
Biggest bummer of the century for me. That song is so silly. It's just like, he is nonstop and constantly just changes what's going on. It's exhausting. I love it. Shout out Potweed.
Well, I mean, it is the exhaust, but
I know, but like the song is just crazy. But anyway,
it's exhausting in every form.
This is true. I'm also surprised to see the name for it got messed up on the thing, but Mouwa, whatever that 17 is that got banned, didn't make it through. That's a pretty hype 17, but that's not going to be coming up here. We are going to be seeing the Camellia Not a Hero song, Over the Top, Exhaust.
Oh, this is the same one from earlier, the origami. Yeah,
we're back to that one. And Cappuccino Hearts, Exhaust.
Cappuccino Hearts, very solid song from very early on in Xiggear's lifespan. Very popular 18, depending on what your goals are.
I'm not a fan.
Highly recommended chart for some people if they're going for just like an easy S. If you can handle the tech, there's some tech that'll mix you up on the 18 for sure.
I've never been particularly that good at it, but I know a lot of people are. So
like it's low on the puck tier list if you can do the one-handed like A L kind of like 16th stuff. So it's determined by your dexterity between your thumb and the rest of your hand on a one-handed trill.
Also interesting to see Smash the Paint, whatever it's actually called, banned out the exhaust for that. Players don't want to be dealing with that.
Yeah, it feels a little like they wanted to lean away from the 15s, maybe.
Yeah. I am noticing a lot of
unknown 15s.
In this bracket, we're seeing a lot of the 15s being banned out. Understandably, I don't think a lot of. Once you get like around 17 Volt Force, you kind of stop playing 15s altogether.
Yep.
Once you kind of get past that point, players want to just move up to the uppers. So not a lot of 15s are really on people's radars for stuff that they know or want to pull out in a tournament like this. I can't remember if either of these players played this song in our set earlier that had this song. Because if they did, they'd have a huge advantage.
Yeah, that is true. I do not recall.
I also do not recall. But both players are about even at the moment.
Neck so far.
First big drop comes from Hopecaster over on the right, dropping a knob. And unfortunately a hold as well. That is going to be a very costly error. Nixie maintaining a pretty even composure in this initial quarter of the chart.
Yeah, it seems like Hope's getting mixed by some like D button stuff. There's a lot of notes being anchored on the D button that are difficult and tricky one-hand section. That is especially tricky too, the hold with the chips in the middle.
That could be really hard. That's very tough.
That's evil.
That's very tough. It is a bit of a struggle, especially if you don't know if it's coming, because again, a lot of this stuff is starting on the wrong side of the screen.
And a lot of very hand trippy.
Yeah, it's alternating between like, this is actually kind of dense and hard to execute, and then like hand trip. And that's a lethal combination on tournament nerves.
This is bordering like on 17. Or, sorry.
It is a 17.
Yeah, no.
Believe it or not, it feels like a 17 because it is.
Yeah. No, makes sense. I'm still on like wave 1 mode, I guess. It's very, very tough depending on the person to hit those AC and BD chords one-handed too.
Nick is just actually smashing this right now.
Yeah.
Doing a great job. And that'll do it.
Yep.
980. Super solid run.
Hit those slams at the end pretty well too. You can get mixed by those because they go different directions. But I'm almost leaning towards maybe Nick did play the exhaust for this earlier when it was drawn in the tournament.
Might have been. Might have been.
Wait, no. Well, no. Nick's knew from this.
It had to have been in this group, right? Because we didn't have 17s until this group.
Yeah, no. I'm thinking. Well, I think what we saw earlier was the exhaust.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're spitting.
Yeah,
it was a 15. You're right.
Yep.
You're so right. All right, over the top exhaust. This has got to be pretty fast. It's got to be, I'm going to guess, a lot of buttons.
Yeah. I've clocked the 18 for this as pretty, like, ridiculously difficult to score on, so. Love me some Ashrout, though. Tough one-hands right out the gate. This is pretty faithful to the 18 for the most part, with just a little bit.
Yeah. And honestly, both our players are doing really well.
Yeah, slightly easier execution than the 18, but not by much.
Ooh, gold chain drop on Nixie's side. Kept the chain for solid 600 or so notes.
Hope. really holding on for a bit.
Yeah, Hope's actually about to reach 600 of his own. Yeah, unfortunately does drop into the across the deck, thinking it was a one-hand. It was 2. And we are into the 12th note breakdown.
Nick C chaining a bunch of nears for a little bit there.
Hope is doing quite well until a few error drops at the end, and is unfortunately dropping a bit on these one-handings. But it is quite tricky.
Yeah, reach for the wrong knob. Very common.
That'll get you. Okay, executing quite well on this one-handing, though.
Yep.
Wow, this is some tricky jacks.
Yeah.
That's very difficult. Both players actually doing quite well on it, though. Hits the last BC. Not bad, honestly. A 9-9 to a 9-8-3. Both these players doing quite well on what I would assume is a sight read for both
I was going to say,
players.
if this is a sight read, I think that just comes down to who can react better to hand trip and just one-hand tech things coming at you on the fly.
That would be a sight read for both. Or actually, wait. I think that actually wasn't a sight read. I think that was a tied TV on Nixie's side. Because they were switched.
Oh, yeah, and we saw the 0.
Yeah, I think I saw the 0 and assumed it was a sight read, but it was inverted.